I deeply enjoyed the Dorset countryside here. Just outside Wimborne in Dorset. But I'm hearing lots of birds and enjoying the greenery of fields and garages, and yet being alone with my thoughts. Rather nice.
A rock shifting. Here and there, the granite mustering itself, opening its mouth, but only more rock, only more rock, only. Under pheasant foot, deer hoof, beneath boot tire, something deeper.
Old Cuckoo Whispers by Dan Grimston, the poet and resident for Right to Roam. In only 8% of England does the public have the right to go wherever they please. This is commonly referred to as the right to roam.
Hello, my name is Nick Hayes. I wrote a book called The Book of Trespass, which kind of, alongside my friend Guy Shrubsole's book, Who Owns England, launched the Right to Roam campaign. We realised there was a real urgent desire for a deeper connection with nature, and you just can't have that without access rights.
Farmers think differently.
There has to be controls over where the right to roam goes.
We will hear more from Ian, a farmer in Dorset, later.
Under the call of the birds and the crack of the guns, through the barbed wire, inside the gate, something beside you in the mists that rise and fall in an instant. Something coming nearer in the dawn, in the day, in the dusk, in the dark of the night, running its fingers along the sides of your tent, along the pieces of your spine that rise like taws from your back, whispering granite into your dreams, muffling the stars.
The Right to Wild Camp on Dartmoor is one of Right to Roam's latest campaigns.
This appeal concerns a question as to whether the public have the right to pitch tents and to camp on the Dartmoor Commons. Members of the public wish to camp not in designated campsites, but anywhere on the Dartmoor Commons, so that they are away from crowds and from amenities and can enjoy the natural environment. Mr. and Mrs. Darwell now appealed to the Supreme Court, which unanimously dismisses the appeal.
The campaigners had yet found out that they won the court hearing.
My name's Nick Hall and I'm with Campaign for National Parks, the only independent campaign charity for national parks in England and Wales. And I've come down to the Supreme Court here because we're passionately behind the campaign and the protection of wild camping in Dartmoor. It's fantastic to have the High Court agree with us that the right to wild camp without landowners' permission is a right that should be enjoyed by everyone. But at the same time as the fact it's a relief, there's also a feeling it shouldn't really have come to this. We shouldn't be in a position where wealthy landowners can restrict people's right to access, and actually what we think of this moment is rather than an end point, is a starting point. We believe that the access rights should be extended across the whole of national parks, and that actually wild camping shouldn't be restricted to Dartmoor, but should be enjoyed across the other 9 national parks in England and Wales.
My name's Guy Shrubsole. I'm from the Right to Roam campaign. I live in Totnes in Devon, so live close to Dartmoor. Gone wild camping a lot in my life, and yeah, really been very concerned about this case. Been campaigning around this issue for the last 5 years or so. So yeah, been a very exciting day. I really hope it leads to a lot more changes. Yes, I hope that politicians and the government look at today's ruling and see the public interest, the public concern with these issues, and see how many thousands and thousands of people have responsibly wild camped for decades and want to be able to do so in other places, in other parts of the country. So the campaign doesn't stop here. This is just the next step. We really, really need the government to now change the law to extend those rights, to be able to wild camp in other national parks, in other parts of the country, and to give us a greater right to roam over England and Wales.
Zoe Leventhal, and I'm a King's Counsel, so we now have established very clearly that even in this private land situation, because of the national park statutory scheme, the piece of legislation that says you've got this right to have open air recreation, you can wild camp in Dartmoor. I think what this has done is shown that the courts are very sympathetic to the concept of people's right to experience all forms of open air recreation. This gives political license, as it were, for those parts of the different political parties, whether it's the government or others, to take this and make it a stepping stone to increasing wild camping rights in other areas and exploring how much more a right to roam should be further enshrined in our law more broadly.
The Labour Party had promised to introduce a full right to roam in England, but in 2023 they were back on that promise following reports of pressure from landowners. In the 2024 election manifesto, the Labour Party only promised to improve access to nature. Nick Hayes from Right to Roam.
They stopped taking our calls. Labour ghosted us. They just they dumped us and pretended we never existed. And that was largely, I think, due to the inheritance tax that they put on small farms. They realised that they'd pissed farmers off enough, and they didn't want to do it again by introducing a Right to Roam Act. And I'll be honest, Charlie, I was a sort of weird combination of like deeply disgusted and bored, because I've never seen this as a political campaign. I've seen this as a cultural campaign. I think the idea that farmers should be pissed off with a right to roam is our responsibility to change that from a cultural perspective.
A whisper that cannot be bought, that is so deep it will make holes in your pockets, that will suck you dry until you fall down with your back to a stone and wish you were mad. Hooves. Howls.
Right now I'm in the car driving down windy Dorset Road on the way to Lower Barnsley Farm to talk to Ian Purchase about Right to Roam.
Right to roam in the right places. You can't have right to roam over agricultural farmed land because there's too many issues with public access, with cattle, for instance, people leaving rubbish around, accessing fields where cattle are grazing, particularly if they're taking dogs into the field. We need to, the public need to understand the problems of walking dogs with cattle. Leaving rubbish around is a big issue, particularly if you've got livestock or machinery actually. And the other problem is open access through arable areas. You're never quite sure what a farmer has done to a field, and we wouldn't want people walking across a field after we'd applied a plant protection product because we don't, the public may not have the right shoes or boots on to walk through a crop that's just been recently sprayed. So there has to be controls over where the right to roam goes.
Nick Hayes from Right to Roam.
The basic laws of the countryside are not complex. First of all, the government has put essentially bugger all funding into advertising the countryside code. But when you grow up in the country, there's some basic things that if you know the reason why they're there, like if you know the reason why you should leave a gate as you found it, that idea that a gate isn't just an open or a shut portal, it's actually an intersection that the farmer either needs open or shut.
I don't think people will take much notice of what they learn when they go walking. I think it goes in one ear and out the other, to be honest. It's very difficult unless somebody understands agriculture and what happens on farms. It's very difficult to get the public to remember and behave responsibly, I feel. And it's right to roam can only happen on areas that I believe that are not intensively farmed.
I'm Paula Brunt, a trustee for the Disabled Ramblers. There was somebody that came along and it was their first ramble as well. And he came along with his wife and his daughter, who was sort of like 11 or 12. And I was just chatting to him and he said, so nice to be out in the country, being able to, enjoy the fresh air and talk to different people as well. And I know, obviously, sort of like medically, it's proven that it's beneficial not just to your mental health, your physical health. It lowers your blood pressure, you sleep better.
Nick Hayes from Right to Roam again.
Things like cold water swimming are not just good for you physiologically, they're also not just good for your mental health. They're very good for your what councils would like to call community cohesiveness. If people can come together over a shared activity and a shared love for the river, for outdoor swimming, then not only does the immersion in cold water benefit their mental and physical health, but it starts to address another of England's deep issues, a kind of epidemic of isolation and loneliness. But if people were able to take control of their own mental health by accessing woodlands, there's so much science at the moment that's talking about, it's called forest bathing, or Shinrin-yoku in Japan, where it's, I guess, where we've been influenced by. And it's that sense that breathing in the air of the trees not only increases your immune system, but calms your body. And that's just the essential oils of the tree. That's just a physical, chemical reaction in your body, let alone the mental health benefits of just taking an hour out of a busy day and being able to walk in your own thoughts for a while.
The Right to Roam campaign had won the fight to World Cup on Dartmoor in the Supreme Court. The wider fight to improve access rights across the English countryside continues.
An antlered head, moving at the edges of your eyes, unsticking itself from the line of the horizon, fading in and out of the endless dry grasses that breathe like living hide. Breathe in. Breathe out. Something off. Something coming to set it right. Something coming to assert its rights or your lack. Something. Something.
The poem Old Cuckoo Whispers was written and read by Daniel Gurrington. The recorder and violin music was written and performed by Lynette Williams. The Bouzouki music was written and performed by Nick Hayes. It was produced and written by me, Charlie Williams.